Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of The Greatest Things Ever Said, where I take something that's brilliant and profound and just unpack it slightly. And today I want to talk about the great Solzhenitsyn quote: "The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being." So Solzhenitsyn wrote these words from a prison camp, as you may know. He observed firsthand the cruelty of the prison guards, the corruption of the system, and the moral collapse of an entire nation, really, under ideology and oppression. And you might expect him to come out of such a awful condition, believing that evil lives in certain people and that it's reserved for the worst in society. But those who imprison and torture surely must be made of a different substance from the rest of us. He'd perhaps think, but no, what he discovered was far more unsettling, I think, and actually far more hopeful as well. He realized that evil is not a separate category of human being. It's a capacity within every human heart. Not something that divides groups of people, but something that, I guess, it divides each person within themselves. And I think what makes this insight breathtaking really is its complete refusal to let us claim moral superiority over other people. It shatters that comforting illusion that evil is what other people do. We all prefer this narrative, or most of us prefer this narrative because it lets us avoid the uncomfortable task of self-examination. But when Solzhenitsyn insists that I suppose every cruelty in human history began in the kind of small permissible acts of the heart, and it could be any one of us under the wrong conditions. He saw how ordinary people became agents of brutality really by avoiding responsibility for the inner direction in their lives, or the inner conscience in their lives. And he realized when observing this that this tendency lives in him as well. It's not meant to depress us. It actually it's meant to empower us, I would say, because if evil were just out there in some abstract separate category of person, there wouldn't be much we could do about it. But if the line, as Solzhenitsyn says, if it cuts right through every human heart, then the struggle is fought at an individual level on our own individual narrative. It's a series of life choices, of daily activity, of contemplation. It's in the private realm. So I think his insight transforms ethics and morality, not as a war against other people, but it's a war for our own very soul. The worst thing we can do is just assume that it's other people. It's a call to vigilance, to humility, and actually, I think, to hope. Because if the line is in every heart, then every heart can be redeemed, can't it? Yeah, the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. I love that. I think that's great. Thank you for watching, and please do subscribe if you like, and we'll have more next time. Thank you very much.